Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Untapped Podcast. My name is Jacob Gabel.
And my name is Jacob Wurtz, guys. Welcome to episode number 100. So sick. Guys, if this is your first time joining us for the Untapped Podcast, first of all, thank you. We are thrilled to have you here with us. We've actually got 5 main formats of our show. So first, we have Forging Fortitude episodes. Now, in these episodes, we focus on the mental side of our brand, okay? We go over our anecdotal experience with mindset and mentality. We then pass on tips and advice to you guys to then apply to your own lives. Next, we have physical vitality episodes. In these episodes, we really get to showcase our expertise because you have 2 certified personal trainers here. So in these episodes, we cover everything to do with fitness, diet, nutrition, the gym, fitness programs like 75 Hard. We cover supplements as well. Sometimes we will take trending topics and articles within the fitness industry, and we will give our thoughts and opinions on them.
Yes, sir. Guys, our third format is our breaking news format. That is a current event-based format. We go over things going on in the world right now. We touch on our opinions on those situations, but we also give solutions to it. So it's not just doom and gloom. We're also going over stuff that how we solve these issues, what's going on. Our fourth format is our Knights Table format. That is a masculinity-based format. Keep in mind, I'm 25, Wurtz is 25, our producer Mitch is 23. We're not coming to you on some type of high horse as a perfected man by any means at all. Because of that reason, we are coming to you to bring back masculinity in full force and how important it is to today's world. Now, our fifth format is what we have for you today. It's our guest format, is when we sit down with a fitness professional, entrepreneur, somebody with a great story, somebody that brings you value is the idea there. We do have a little introduction for that fifth format today, ladies and gentlemen. Go ahead.
We absolutely do. So guys, we had been hinting at this for a long, long time here with episode 100 coming up. And kind of before we jump into this, I think it's important to reflect on this because it's been almost 2 years of us on the podcast here. And there's a lot of you that have listened, watched every single episode. And guys, from the bottom of our hearts, all 3 of us here, thank you. It means the world to us. This is a big episode for us. It's very, very meaningful. And it's a big testament to a lot of things that we talk about. Consistency, hard work, discipline, things like that. And we're not stopping. We are not stopping.
No, we are not.
So our guest today, guys, he is a repeat Untapped Podcast guest. First time, 2-time champion here on the Untapped Podcast. But before he gets to speak here, I had to write a little essay on the accolades of this guy.
I mean, you want to talk about a long list here. Yeah.
So in case you don't know who Mr. Jeff LoVecchio is, this guy, he spent 10 years playing professional hockey, both internationally and here in the U.S., okay? He trains guys like Kyron Williams on the L.A. Rams, Tony Adams on the New York Jets, Trent Frederick, who's a St. Louis guy, here on the Boston Bruins. I wonder if you taught him how to fight, too. I'm very curious on that.
I have a chance.
I wish. He could beat me up one hand.
Oh, man, he can throw hands, dude.
A couple more names here. Cole McWard on the Vancouver Canucks, Joseph Woll on the Toronto Maple Leafs, just to name a few. He is the co-host on the Hockey Think Take podcast with over 1 million downloads.
Something slight.
Casual number there. And then you have trained thousands and thousands of people all around the world with your GM/BM programming. Jeff, it's good to have you back on, dude.
Man, this is really cool. Like, this is an honor for me, honestly. I've been on your podcast before, probably like episode 50 around.
It was
60?
give or take around 30 plus episodes ago. So about, I don't know, somewhere in the 60s.
So 60, 70,
yeah.
Okay. And so, you guys asked me to come on your 100th episode. It's an absolute honor for me. I just had my 5-year anniversary for my Hockey Think Tank podcast.
Oh, let's go.
Literally this week. It happened on like Monday or Tuesday. I know exactly, like, I remember back to 100 episodes for us. Like we're maybe 300 now or close, right?
Yeah.
And I know how hard it is, especially when it's 3 people doing a podcast together.
Yes.
So you have a 3-man crew here, and to get 3 people's schedules to align every week or every 2 weeks or however often you're putting out episodes is not easy. And like you guys said, you're talking about like Andy talks about, excellence is the ultimate rebellion and all these things. Well, like, you can't be excellent if you're not consistent first. And 100 episodes, guys, badass. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Seriously.
Thank you.
I really appreciate that.
That's dope,
It means a
man.
lot. It is. And then not only have you on for the second time, but we are in your brand new dream home gym here, which is just, it's so sick. I mean, you
Swing!
Yeah, dude, big time. I mean, anything you could possibly want. That is great. Anything you could possibly want for a home gym. I mean, you basically have it down here, dude. I mean, it's pretty sweet in here. So we're extremely thankful to be able to do this in here.
Yeah, dude. You know what? It's literally perfect timing. My wife was out of town for the weekend, so I could like kind of just work the whole weekend and you know, not have to put a pause on that. And yesterday they came in and put the rack together and bolted it to the ground. And I just got these 2 Craftsman pieces in. So I was glad that it kind of came together for the most part here. It's not done. And it also will never be done. As you guys know, like you guys are both the same as me. You're obsessed with training. I love training tools. I love if I can find something that will help me get a 1% increase in some way, shape, or form, I will buy it. I will use it. I want my clients to use it. And so for me, it'll never end. But for the most part, it's almost all the way done. So I'm glad the timing worked out.
Yeah, no, it's very, very cool. And you know, we're going to talk about that a little bit later in one of our questions. You know, just talking about big goals and whatnot. But I think we hop right into it here. We got a few questions.
I thoroughly agree with that. Yeah, let's do this.
Well, let's do it. So when people are kind of evaluating their life and maybe wanting to make changes, whether it's big or small, it doesn't really matter. In your opinion, in your experience, what should people focus on first? Is it physical fitness? Is it overall mindset? Is it financial freedom? Do you think one is more important than the other? Is there a certain order? Like, what are your kind of thoughts on that?
The way that I attack any problem or goal is the same. It's first, like establish like what I want and why do I want it? You know, like where do I want to be? What do I want to do? What do I want to accomplish? You don't leave your house to drive somewhere that you've never been without putting in the directions into your MapQuest or your whatever Waze, right? Like you don't just start driving and then hope that you end up at the place that you haven't put in anywhere. You don't know the address, which means you don't know the route to take. And so it's the same thing with any goal, any problem. It's like, well, where do I want to be? What do I want to be doing? What does that look like? And then just like, I just reverse engineer that backwards. What does that look like? What things do I need to do to achieve whatever my goals are? So first and foremost, I would have to say is like, you have to decide like, what is my goal? Mm-hmm. And then, okay, now let's think about some benchmarks working backwards to today that I can start moving that needle north. Right. And then after that, it would be, okay, now it's all about details and habits. Yeah. Habits, consistency, details. I think that, nothing happens in a silo. Everything happens together. Like if you work on your physical fitness and you do things that are hard, you're probably going to be able to push through things that are hard for you mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Absolutely. I think physical fitness is the easiest one to start yourself down the path of constantly trying to level up your life because you have such tangible results. Mm-hmm. Whereas if you're trying to, go from $50,000 salary to $100,000 salary, that's a massive jump. You're not going to get there in a day, in a week, in a month. Mm-hmm. You're probably not, most likely you're not getting there in a year. Mm-hmm. So like, even though you could be progressing every day because you don't feel those tangible results and you're not getting a bonus every week, you're not getting a promotion every week, I think it's harder for people. So I think when you start on your physical fitness first, or at least at the same time, that I could only do 5 push-ups 2 weeks ago, but today I'm doing 10. Yeah. And in 3 weeks, I'm doing 20. Mm-hmm. I could do 1 pull-up to start the summer. In 3 weeks, I'm doing 3 pull-ups. Mm-hmm. So it's like, that's how you build confidence. Consistency, and then continually just trying to get a little bit better, and then you can see that you're on the right path. Physical fitness shows you those results sooner than probably anything else. Yeah, right. So that reverse engineering idea, did you learn that from somebody or somewhere else, or did you just kind of come up with that? I mean, I'm sure I learned it from somewhere. I don't know. But like, I'm such a massive proponent, and that's my thought process with anything, because that's like how hockey helped me. Like everything that I do now, it's literally stuff I learned from my hockey career, not being the best player at every level and having to like grind and work to get to that next level, stay there, be relevant, then try to excel at that to get to the next level. Mm-hmm. And looking back, like that process for me to become a pro athlete after my junior year, like that wasn't a year, that wasn't 2 years. Like that started when I was like 6 years old. Yeah. And it was just like first just having fun, not even know I was working, and then intentional work, and then like smarter work, and then smarter and harder work, and then always evolving year after year after year. So it's like, I know what that daily consistency will get you if you just stay consistent. Right. And it might not be as soon as you want. It's probably not going to be as soon as you want.
Sure.
But if you have the faith and the belief in yourself and the consistency to get a little bit better every day, I just always believe that I'm going to get to where I want to go.
Yeah.
I'm going to.
Right.
And if I don't do that, I know that I won't. So it's like, okay, I'll just like find a way to get a win every fucking day,
Right.
you know?
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely. I'm curious off that because we were talking about physical fitness, of course. One thing I've heard a lot of the times is if you don't have your health, you don't really have anything, right? Yeah. So I'm curious because obviously you and Kylie, like you can do pretty much whatever you want because of your guys' physical health. It's so important long-term for you. You'll be able to go into your 60s, 70s, even 80s and be able to do active hikes together, active stuff together
Making
with your
out
friends.
still.
Oh, that's important.
Attaboy.
That's an important one. That's an
Attaboy.
important one. Jeff and Kylie kiss, ladies and gentlemen. It's confirmed. It's a confirmed fact. Yeah. But what do you think about that statement? You think that's true?
Oh man, I mean it's massive. Yeah, like I know some super uber rich people who are very unhealthy, and because they're very unhealthy, they don't get to enjoy their money, and they're super unhappy because they can't do anything with their money.
Sure.
So like for me, I'd rather be poor and healthy and agile, and I can move and I can breathe and I can do all these things than have a ton of money and be completely out of shape and in the doctor's office all the time, in the hospital. So it's like, you've got to find a way to focus on your temple. Also because the more efficiently your machine works, both brain and body, in the gym and in life and things like that, and physically, the easier it is for you to work. Like you can handle stress better.
Right.
100%.
Like literally,
100%.
like I started boxing every Sunday with just not boxing, but like just hitting the hand pads with my buddy Jay Belville, who owns Glove Up STL. And I have a couple of my guys who used to play with or clients or anything come over every Sunday, and when I don't do it, I don't handle stress as well.
Sure.
When I do it just once a week and like punch the shit out of the pads, and
It's
like
an easy release.
crush
It's an
myself.
outlet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like a physical release, and I just have noticed, especially with my concussion injuries, where there were long periods of time for some of those where I couldn't have that physical outlet, that it was much harder for me to deal with stress.
Yeah.
Much harder.
No, I believe it. And you mentioned earlier too, when, like I think you said either with the push-ups or the pull-ups example, you could do one pull-up and then you could do 3, and that gives you that confidence. And the way that translates into the other aspects of your life is because that confidence was gained. So you're walking around the rest of the day, the rest of the week, month, whatever. Like, I'm a bad MFer, I can do this. I can handle this situation at work or in my relationship or with my kids or whatever it is. It directly translates. And I think everyone in this room would absolutely agree with that. It's massive.
Yeah, dude. I mean, and like I said, it's just the easiest example for you to like look at and be like, I did something I didn't think I could do.
And anyone can do it.
Anyone can fucking do it. And it doesn't matter if you start at level 0
Right.
today or you start, it's been a while, but I'm like at level 5 out of 10 as far as in shape compared to most people. It doesn't matter. Progress is progress. And you take those wins and you're like, I did that. Because with fitness, it's not like money where I can give my money to somebody really smart, or, if I'm in the government, I can insider trade.
Oh,
or do
that's
whatever
always a
like
good
that.
one. Yeah.
And they'll make me a bunch more money. Like,
You should have brought the conspiracy glasses with us today.
Or you can just take money from all your taxpayers and send it overseas. That works too, right?
Right?
Yeah.
And but you can't, I could give my money to a super nerdy financial guy who's super smart and he can make me more money, but I can't give him money to make me more fit. I can't give anyone anything that makes me more fit.
Yeah.
Like that's not a thing. You can't do it. So it's something you have to build within yourself.
Absolutely.
And it's an instant confidence builder.
Sure. And that's why you see sometimes too, there's clients that are working with trainers for years and years and years, but they don't change. It's because the trainer's doing his job or her job of giving you the workouts and walking you through the process, getting your form down and all that. But if you're not doing your part when you're away from the trainer or the coach, you're not going to make any progress, which is exactly why you haven't been. We know some coaches that they're busy and they have very consistent clients with them in the gym, but the clients don't look any different. And there absolutely could be fault on the coach. We know
There could be both ways, 100%.
We know that to be true. But it's also very obvious if you're doing the things that you need to outside of the gym to get progress. And when they don't change, they're clearly not.
Yeah, I mean, how you do anything is how you do everything. I'd say, like, if your clients aren't getting results and you've had them for a while, you also need to, like, fucking find a way to get through to them.
You need to check yourself. You need to check yourself as a trainer, 100%.
You need to do more. You need to do better, I think. Obviously, you can't control what they put in their mouth, how much they sleep, how much they drink water, anything like that. But at the same time, like I'm sure you guys have a bunch of trainers that listen to you since you guys are trainers and so am I. Like at a certain point, if a client won't do what's asked of them or doesn't bring 100% effort with me every time, like I cut them.
Yeah.
For multiple reasons. You might be thinking, oh, but it's easy money. They come every week and whatever. But like that's your advertising.
Exactly.
So when they're walking around in the world and they're saying, oh, I train with John Smith, and then everybody's like, I'm not going to John Smith.
Exactly.
If that's what
you
your
look
results, how much you
Right.
spend in a month, and you look the same after 6 months or a year.
Yep.
You feel the same. You haven't changed mentally or physically. So like for trainers, that's something that like I tell them all the time too. Like you'd rather put more energy into people who are going to do what's asked of them. Not only for them to be healthy, which is what you want, but also like your clients are your walking advertisements every single day. And they will be the best advertising you could possibly do. Like that's the proof.
Yes,
So
that word of mouth.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
it's so accurate because that happened with one of my clients where, first 3 to 6 months, I was on her every time, the 2 times a week we trained. And then finally, after about 6 months, she bought in, did 75 hard, followed everything we've been talking about. Next thing you know, she lost like 20 pounds, made all these results. And it's like, so that's how you actually get through, because you can't just stand back as a trainer and be like, oh yeah, they make me free money.
yeah,
That's not.
No, it's going to hurt your
horrible
business
advertising.
in the long
Yeah,
run.
horrible
Exactly.
advertising.
And you're hurting that client.
100%.
Right,
Yeah, because
right.
you care about these people. You should.
Maybe they need the pee-pee slap. Maybe they need the tough love so that they'll actually do what you're saying. Oh,
Sure.
wow, he's going to fire me. Like I like coming and working out here. So maybe I will.
Yeah, even though I'm paying him money, he'll fire me because of that. Then they know you're serious when that point
Right.
comes. 100%.
You know?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And there's also a level of morality to it as well. If you're just using them for free money and free game and whatnot, like, are you really doing your job? What you signed
Not
up
at all.
for? You're not. You're not. You're just
Not at all. And if you're not going to do that for a client, don't take on a client as a trainer.
Yeah.
If you're not going to care about them, don't waste your time.
Yeah.
There's no reason you should be training at that point in time.
Yeah, that's an integrity thing. That's tough. I see that a lot in like smaller public gyms, trainers just like going through the motions.
Oh gosh, yeah.
And then
Yeah.
all they do is complain that they don't make any money. And I'm like,
I mean, have you
wonder
seen
why.
how you
Mirror,
walk
bro.
around? You
Look
show
in
up
the
in your
mirror.
PJs.
yeah.
You're at your gym.
You haven't combed your hair in a
gym,
week.
right. Or they're out of shape themselves.
Yeah.
And that's like probably my personal biggest pet
Yeah,
peeve.
that's tough. That's tough.
Yeah.
Especially like Mike Boyle. I think he's gold standard for hockey. He always says like, even if this is like if you have a lot of clients and you're working a lot, he's like, you should always be demonstrating, like not just talking, like showing it.
Yes.
So even if you can't get a workout in, like in the summer during the off season, when I've got up to 140 guys a day on Mondays and Tuesdays, like I'm demonstrating over and over and over and over. End of the day, I have no energy. I
gassed.
can't work out on those Mondays, or like it's like very, very minimal. But like I also got in enough to stay somewhat in shape, right?
Sure.
By demonstrating over and over and over all day
Yeah.
long.
And
know
you're
what
still
I mean?
controlling your diet. You're still controlling your sleep at that point in time
when
to the
you
best of your ability.
Yeah. And when you see that these trainers that we're talking about, not to like shit on anybody, but they're never demonstrating. They're always just like,
Exactly.
do it this way, do
Right.
it that way. But then they're not moving, you know. So
Right.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, moving along here. And this question kind of is similar in ways. I think your answer might be similar in ways to the first one too. But when people look around, they see your success, whether it's this brand new home gym or all the different people you've trained, whether it's the pro athletes or the general population clients. Your first Phorm Athlete, different sponsorships and whatnot. So, what would your advice be when people are starting towards new big goals? And then once completed, what do you do after that then?
Yeah, I love that. I mean, again, it's you got to decide where you want to finish. Like, what is the goal? Like, actually, what is the goal? Like, like the more specific, the better. Again, if you're just kind of specific, that's like driving to a city but not knowing the address. Like, like if you're not extremely specific with this is what I want or this is who I want to be, then you can't create the steps to get there. And so, number one, what is your why? And then write it down everywhere. Like I have it on my mirror, like, every week or every other week, I might change like what's on my mirror, different things to like remind myself of why I do things and have it everywhere, write it in your phone, tell your friends. Like I use Instagram all the time to put out things that I'm not ready to do yet. but that I want to do. And I put it out there just because I know thousands and thousands of people will see it. And it's like, for me, it's kind of like an accountability thing that I do now. Now that I know that I have a ton of eyes on me and ears into my podcast and stuff like that, I'll say things that I am not ready to do yet on purpose, knowing if I don't do that, a bunch of people are going to ask me what's going on.
Yeah, exactly.
And so like find ways to hold yourself accountable, tell people your goals, because then if they're your friends, they will, if they see you out and, you know, your goal is to lose weight. And so part of that is I'm not going to drink anymore. And then you're out and you're having a drink and you've told all your friends, I'm not going to drink anymore because I want to lose weight.
Yes.
Good friends will be like, hey, you know, what's going on? Is everything okay? Like, I thought you weren't going to drink and you'd been going for 3 weeks so far. Is there anything you want to talk about? They can hold you accountable. So you have to set the goal. You have to tell people. You have to speak it. You have to write it. You have to do all these things. And then, like I said earlier, reverse engineer. What does that look like? And what's one step I can take today? And like, actually, don't just go from the goal to where I'm at today, because that seems friggin' huge.
Yeah, sure.
You know, it's like try to break it up into like, well, if I could do this first, and then if I'm consistent, I'll hit this plateau, and then this plateau, and then you just every day, every single day, get a win. Every single day. Like, you're gonna have bad days. You're gonna have days that suck. You're gonna have hard days. Those are gonna come. Nobody gets to live without those.
Right.
But it's like on those days, just finding any way to get a win.
Yeah.
Anyway, like for instance, since we're talking a lot about physical fitness, it's like, you know, your goal is to work out every day this month. Oh, like life happens. You have kids, you got construction at your house, you got all these things. Before bed, drop down and do 10 push-ups and 10 squats. And then pat yourself on the back and be like, I at least did something to get on the board today. And then you take that confidence from that win into tomorrow and you find a way to get it into your routine, whatever that means. And then you don't get that little dip. Because a lot of people will get that dip where they lose a day and they didn't keep a promise to themselves. And then it turns into 2, 3, 10, 30.
Spirals.
And then it spirals down. So it's like find a way to get a win and then acknowledge it. Pat yourself on the back. I easily could have got in bed, but I dropped down. I did 20 fucking push-ups.
Yeah.
Bam.
Yeah.
And then
Absolutely.
it's like ninjaing yourself that you got to fucking win that day.
Yeah.
Right.
And believing it.
No doubt.
Because most people would have gotten into bed before those 20 push-ups or whatever.
Exactly.
So I'm curious too. So obviously, you know, you were showing us your board before this. You have the checklist you hit weekly, daily, even maybe even monthly. So you obviously went from, you know, we knew you had 8 to 10K followers on Instagram, then 30K, and now you're blowing up to past 100K, which is incredible. What was that? What did that intentionality look like for you? Was that one of your goals to get past that point and just grow and help more people? You know, what did that look like for you?
Yeah, I mean, I don't care about like how many people follow me to be like I have this many followers. I've never even said that. Like I don't care about that. I look at it as the more people that follow me, the more people I can help. Like I've learned so many things throughout being very lucky, having some of the best coaches in the world to work with at the NHL level, AHL level, Division I level, European pro level. I've worked with amazing coaches and so many coaches with different philosophies from different backgrounds, from different continents, from different countries, like all this stuff. And so I've learned a ton, and I also had to live it because I wasn't good enough. And so I just know that like if I can increase my following, I can help more people. And I love that shit. Like I literally am obsessed with the gym. The gym has changed my life. The gym gave me confidence when I didn't have it. The gym made me a better hockey player when I wasn't good enough in juniors and I really got into training. The gym gave me a professional 10-year career. The gym now allowed me to build this unbelievable gym in my basement for my wife and I. And so like, I just love sharing that shit. Like I'm obsessed with it. If you ask anybody in any public gym who's ever seen me in St. Louis, like I'll be in there for like 4 hours sometimes because people come and ask me questions and I'll just like start training them.
Like, let's go. Let's get after it.
Deeper, you know, like this, but like, that's just, this is all I want to do with my life. So like, I don't ever want to wear a suit. I want to be in the gym. I want to wear comfy clothes. I want to wear First Form tees all day. You know,
that's right.
This is Bauer pants. What's up? This is just all.
No big deal. Little sponsorship. Little new sponsorship.
It's all I want to do. And so for me, when COVID happened, the first day I turned the camera around, I started talking to the camera. I started doing free nightly workouts at home and yogas and stretching sessions for like 60 days. I just kept doing every day. Okay, I'll be on at this time. Anybody wants to join me? And more people joined. And I had probably 3,000 followers then. And the first day I turned the camera around and I started doing that, I sold like $1,000 worth of my GMBM clothing line.
Oh, wow.
In one night. The first time I started talking to the camera and I did a free thing, and I was like, holy shit, like if I talk to the camera, like I can connect with people more. And more people were reaching out to me asking questions. Why did you do this? Or how did you do that? I can't do that. How do I regress that? And I was like, I guess I got to start talking to my camera. Yeah. So then that was the first evolution of me being like, if I'm going to do something, I want to help more people and I want to grow a business where I can train people online for hilariously cheap, like a fraction of what it would cost to train with me once in person.
Right.
I want to be able to do that. And then every year I've just like been like, oh, well, like a lot of people like videos when I'm coaching in the off season. People love seeing like me coaching the guys, what we're doing in the gym, things like that. I've got a bunch of videos with millions of views. And so it was just like, learn, adapt, apply, learn, adapt, apply. Oh, this video, they like this type. They don't like this type. Oh man, I had 1,000 shares on this one, so people must really like that one. Oh, this one had 10,000 saves. Okay, so people like hip stuff. I'll keep showing hip stuff.
Yeah.
I just learn, adapt, apply, and trying to put out. I don't put out dance TikToks. I don't lip sync.
Oh, you started putting out dance TikToks?
No, I will not. I refuse,
word,
right?
Jeff.
Like, and if you want to do that, like that's fine. But like, if you just scroll back on my Instagram, I try to provide value every single fucking day for free.
Yeah.
And it's value that a lot of people pay me for now.
Yeah.
To get on a call with me or to be in front of my, and do this type of thing. And like social media, I just like giving that away for free.
Yeah. I have a theory on some of your success as well. You think, and you might agree with this. Yeah. Is it because you always have your toes out?
No shot. No shot.
Dude, I had to start like blocking like keywords because anytime I'm barefoot, it gets creepy, bro. But it's like, dude, it's
wait, like what?
Oh, just creepy. People are creepy. People are weird with foot stuff. People message Kylie all the time, want to buy her used socks, workout socks.
I've heard every girl influencer have that issue.
Bro, there's some weird stuff out there. And like, so, but what sucks is like, shoes are so bad for your feet. They are literally so bad for your feet. And so it's like
except for Tolos.
Well, yeah, except for Tolos. But like you got to have like a wide toe box if you're going to wear shoes.
Yes.
And it's just so much better for you, performance-wise, health-wise, longevity-wise, to not wear shoes when you're doing most things in life and in the gym. And so like that's why none of my guys, we don't wear shoes unless we're sprinting or doing some kind of jumps. And so, like, I want to show that because I want to teach people the value. Like, I used to have terribly messed up feet from being in skates all day, every day for 30 years.
Skates are just not meant for it.
And I liked wearing smaller skates because I just liked the feel of being more compressed in there.
Yeah.
And so, like, my feet were mangled. I broke my toes from blocking shots. And so, ever since I stopped wearing shoes, like, my feet, my ankles, my knees, my hips, my back are so much better. So, it's like, I want to show that shit, but then you got weirdos out there.
Yeah,
it's tough. But it's whatever. It comes with the territory.
you know what's interesting too, Jeff, because you were talking about how, it's not about the followers, it's not about the views, it's not about the likes for you. You know how I can tell that is because to this day, even past 100K, you still answer damn near every DM you get. So it shows you actually want to help these people.
Except the foot ones.
Except the foot ones. Except the foot ones. Yeah, don't throw those to him. But yeah, don't toss those over to Jeff. But the real truth of the matter is that I think that's a huge tip a lot of trainers online could learn from you. Because just answering those DMs, even when you're at 1,000 followers, even up to past 100K, you should still be at least trying to answer a good portion of those because it shows you care, right?
I mean, different people have different ways and different time constraints. And anybody who says they don't have time, come hang out with me for a week and see what my days look like. Right. Yeah, it's tough, man. I don't know. I just I like helping people. So as much as I can answer DMs, if I have a free minute, if I'm taking a deuce, I might as well do something where I can get something done. So I'm gonna be sitting there answering people,
just going to battle, answering DMs,
trying to answer as many people as I can. Or I'm just sitting waiting in line at the coffee shop.
That's an interesting image in my head for sure that you just put there. Yep.
So next time you answer DM, I'm like,
now I know you're shitting. 100%.
Well, and I think too, like something I love about your stuff is you're not afraid to share wins, and that's important as well. For people to see other people's success. Andy talks about this a lot, but with the gym coming along, you're not afraid to share that. When you bought your new truck, you're not afraid to share that. When you and Kylie got the house, you're not afraid to share that. And that's it. Honestly, it inspires us too. It keeps us going to a certain extent as well when we're kind of hitting a null or something. You know, we have these big goals and big dreams and whatnot. And we're kind of like, well, where the hell did we get started with this? Or like, there's no way we could do that. But then we see something from you, buying a new truck or a house or something. It's like, absolutely, we can do that, you know? So that's also very important and something I personally love about it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I never ever do anything like braggadocious or anything
Definitely not,
like that.
yeah.
It's just,
No.
it's like, I know that like I haven't had anything given to me. You know, I had
Right.
a great life. Like I grew up like, you know, well taken care of by my parents. But then, you know, as I became a pro athlete, it was all on me. And like I've had to grind for this shit, you know, and I like showing people it because like I get a lot of questions all the time from coaches, trainers around the world reach out to me on Instagram. Like, I want to do what you do and I want to train 20 pro athletes at a time or 20 college athletes at a time. And I'm like, bro, I've been doing it for 16 years, like 16. And I wasn't able to take on this many guys till like year like 9 or 10.
Yeah.
And it was just like every year I was able to learn, adapt, apply, do it a little bit more efficiently, lower cost per client, the bigger space I could be in. That's important to me. I could charge at least double what I do. I don't. Like I just like, I do things a certain way. And then, when they work, I like showing fucking people because also I think a big, dude, you know what's a really big part of that is growing up in St. Louis when I'm an 85 birth year, I'm 38 years old. There was like nobody that was like really making out of St. Louis. Like there was a couple guys.
Yeah.
But like there was nobody like right above me other than Cam Jansen. But because he was only a year above me, it was like we were the same age, you know? So it was like we were coming up together, not he was ahead of me. So I didn't have any blueprint to look at. It wasn't Chicago or Detroit or Canada, anywhere in Canada where there's all these guys from every town
Everywhere.
that have played pro and played Division I. And so like we didn't have that. And there was one guy who came back like 5 times who was playing D1. He's now an assistant coach in the NHL. Not surprising that he was a guy who would come back. And I thought he was the coolest guy ever. And I was like, dude, I want to do that when I'm older. I want to come back and show them what I'm learning to teach those kids because he taught us stuff that our coach couldn't because he was at a higher level playing currently. And I was like, damn, dude, I want to be able to show the kids like all the new stuff and what's possible and where I'm going. And I think that that's just become part of my life from an entrepreneurial standpoint too, is that like, you know, I don't invest a ton of money in the stock market. Like I have money and invested and I have, you know, some decent investments, but like I invest in myself. Like I've always invested in myself as a hockey player, as an entrepreneur, like as like multiple business owner now. Like this gym was an investment.
Yeah.
Like I love it and I built it because I want to have somewhere nice to train. But like also like this is an investment in me, in my business, in my wife's online training business. Like this cost a lot of money and a lot of time and a lot of effort. And like, I want to show people like, look, I'm not fucking afraid to invest in myself.
Right.
If you want like a better life or you want to control your destiny, like I don't want to have a boss control my salary.
Yeah.
I don't want to have a boss control my hours, my life. If I need to take a day off, like I want to control my own fucking destiny. And so for me, I just keep investing in myself so I can do things better and better and better.
Yeah.
And it's been working so far. I'm not going to fucking stop.
Yeah. Dude,
And
I'm ready to run through a brick wall
Dude,
right
I was
now.
going to say that
Good
concrete
Lord.
wall over there. The metal wall, we're going to go right through it.
Well, it's like easy. It's not easy, but like I think sometimes it's hard to connect with a guy like Andy because he's so successful. Right. 100 millionaire, probably on his way to being a billionaire.
Right.
And it's like he's showing us the way, but like you guys said earlier in your intro, like we're 25. We're not saying we have it all figured out. We're telling you what we're doing now. Well, I'm 13 years ahead of you in my business journey, pretty much and in age in the world.
Yeah.
Right.
And so like, I think it's important for me to kind of be putting that stuff out there for guys like you.
Yeah.
So you can see, oh, we're in year 2, 3, 4 of our business. Like, where could it be? Look, Jeff's 16 in.
Right.
Okay. Like, let's see what that looks like. So like, why would we pack up now if we're not, you know, making $1 million? Like he wasn't, and look where, you know, and you know, he's getting there now. So like, I think it's important. And what you guys are doing is the same thing for the 18-year-old kids, you know, and there's somebody between me and probably multiple people between me and Andy, right? That I look up to, you know? So I don't know. I just think it's important to be showing those things and what you're doing. And I don't know.
Dude, it really does help us though, because you're absolutely right. Whenever we see that, it does give us an extra belief in ourselves, because how much you believe in yourself, it's like, again, like Wurtz said, we can do this shit. You know, we can make this happen, and there's no reason to believe against that. Just because, oh, you're an outlier of the rest of the population that works 9 to 5, has their boss control everything. It's like, no, this is still possible, even if, you know, your family's like, oh, that's kind of weird. Like, why are you doing that? Or your friends are like, why are you doing that? And you have to drop that friend group. you're absolutely right. It is one of those things that it showcases a belief in yourself and how important that is, because the person you can trust the most should be yourself, at least hypothetically.
Yeah.
I'm not experienced in everything, of course, but I feel like I can rely on myself a lot more than I can anybody else. And there are days where I falter in that. And then you see something from you, or you see something from even up to Andy, it's like it reignites that belief.
Yeah.
And it's massive for that.
One, we know you guys, and we are very thankful to be friends with both of you guys, and there's other people too that I'm sure I'm
100%.
forgetting
Yeah,
that we
100%,
talk
yeah.
about. But we can look to you guys more immediately, and we can ask you guys questions or learn from you more immediately, and then apply it directly. And a guy like Andy, it's more big picture and like what's going on with the world, and obviously he's going a little bit more the political direction, which is still incredibly important. But just, it was funny that you brought that up, because we literally talk about that all the time, how we look to more, these guys that are more immediately available because it's more applicable. you know?
I mean, like the things that Andy's able to do on a day-to-day basis aren't the things that you and I can do.
No,
You know?
exactly.
Buying a tank isn't in the. That's not on the cards yet.
or pretty much anybody can do, right?
Yeah, right.
And so like it also helps though to see that end goal and like where you could be.
Yes.
Because he's in the same spot we were at one point, He's in your spot at one point, a few years later he's in my spot, a few years later he's in other people's spots.
Right.
So it's just important that I think that people are always putting that stuff out there and proving that it is possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say you ready to transition.
So I want to ask one
you
more
got one
thing
more? Yeah.
while we were kind of on that second question topic. Earlier, you were talking about finding your why. What would you say to people that struggle to find their why?
Oh, I mean, I don't think it should be a struggle to find your why.
Mm-hmm.
Some people might have a struggle to find their why,
Sure.
but I think what's harder is that they don't, like I said earlier, they don't define their why like dialed enough. Like when I talk to people about that, they'll be like, I want to be an actress. And I'm like, all right, movies, stage, commercials, like what is your, like that's too vague. It's too vague.
right.
Like dial it down. Like really, like you have to dial it down into exactly what you want. And it's not saying you're going to get it tomorrow, but like, again, you can't decide the route and the steps to take to get to the goal if you don't define the goal very clearly.
Yes.
Very clearly. And I think a lot of people are scared to say what they want because they're afraid to fail. So then they won't even say what they want. But you will never get what you want if you don't say what you want
Right.
and tell people and put it out there and decide. Because then again, you can't decide the route. So it's like you can't be afraid to fail. Like failing is not a real thing, anyways. Like everybody says, like
Just learning.
Yeah, failure is not final. Like, dude, the more I fail, like the quicker I get better at things. You know, like it's. The second I stopped being afraid to fail, and that I learned that through my hockey career, but I really learned it through going through a divorce. I was married until my last year playing. We split up when I came home, and then we're divorced legally, like during COVID. But after that, after a failure of a marriage, like and introspecting and like learning about myself and looking in the mirror and where could I be a better person and a better husband, a better everything. Just I want to be better when I elevate myself. I lost that fear of failure, and now it's like, dude, I don't care. Like I know that I'm going to get better immediately. So
Right.
I think that to answer your question, it's like just don't lose the fear. Just absolutely what do you want out of life?
Yeah.
You get one life. What do you want to be? What does that look like? Write it down, and then we'll make steps to get there. And then what happens, like along the way, you wanted to be a professional baseball player, I'm sure. You didn't make it. But guess what? By you working towards that goal when you were young and in high school and in college and things like that, you learned about training. You had great coaching. You learned how to coach baseball players. You learned how to do all these things that now, okay, you're not an MLB player, but weren't you working with an MLB guy, right?
I do.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
So you weren't an MLB guy, but you're working with an MLB
Exactly.
guy. And like, what unbelievable. How cool is that?
It's
so
awesome.
by you trying to become an MLB player and put everything you had into that, studying training, studying coaching philosophy and psychology now that allowed you to work as closely to being an MLB player as you possibly could.
Right.
And that's an amazing life.
It is.
And that's something that I've learned too, is that when you shoot for the stars, if you work towards it, even if you miss, you're landing on the moon. Pretty sweet place to be.
Right.
You know?
Right. And it honestly, it took me having very little success in college playing baseball to then come home and doing absolutely nothing for a couple of years. I mean, that's when I gained all my weight and just wasn't really doing anything. Honestly, like I didn't know what my why was. I didn't know what my dreams were, anything like that. And then we reconnected in 2020 and things just kind of became a little bit clearer. We started talking and hanging out more. And it's like, damn, dude, like we might have something here. Next thing you know, like I'm getting in the gym, I'm learning about fitness, I'm learning about training. And so it almost came after my playing career, I guess is what I would call it, that I learned the importance and honestly learned to appreciate things like the type of training that, because we do the Michael Boyle stuff as well, and just learning the appreciation of those things. And like you just said, like it's gotten me to the spot where I'm working with, high-level college guys, minor leaguers, and then we've got some big leaguers, which is awesome. It's absolutely awesome. And then all the young kids too. Like that's just as important.
And some of them are going to grow up to be MLB or Division I because of what, you worked on with them for 10 years.
Exactly.
Or they're going to be better men for it even,
and
at minimum.
I think, 100%. Yeah. And I think that's like the big thing is because people are afraid to fail, they don't try. But it's like, dude, whatever your goals are, like the biggest thing you get out of having a goal and consistently working towards it is that you just elevate so many different aspects of your life, your skill set, just everything, the way you live. Yeah. And then that helps you find success in other ways, even if you weren't. I didn't play in the NHL. I played 7 games of preseason, but I didn't play in the NHL. I didn't play, regular season. I didn't make $10 million playing hockey, but I'm sure as hell going to now in the doing what I'm doing and the trajectory I'm on and the path I'm on and where I'm taking that and where I'm going and all of that and this gym and my life now. It's not where I want it to be, but it's in a great spot and it keeps getting better. And all of that happened because I went after a goal at 100% to be an NHL.
Response and the immediate
especially
results.
Our generation.
Exactly, 100%. Especially.
And I see that myself daily.
Right.
I see
especially
myself
like your guys' age and below.
Social media makes me want it now.
Yeah, social media. That's the downfall of social media. Is that
tough, dude.
People, like I said, like I have coaches reach out to me all the time. I want to build an online training business like you have. I want to work with teams. I want to do this. I want to do this. And they'll pay me and I'll go over, okay, these are the steps. These are the exact steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 through 10. This is what you got to do. And then we'll get on a call in a month or 2 months and they've done 1 out of 10 or 0 out of 10. And I really want it. Dude, 1 through 10, just do these and you're going to start your business. Right. No, you're not going to make as much as I'm making right now, but I've been doing it for 3 years.
Right.
And I'm not making as much as somebody who's been doing it for 10 years.
Exactly.
Who's better and better and better, right? So it's like, you got to start.
Yeah.
They think of it as the how to get rich in 3 to 6 months.
That's not
compared
real.
to how to get real in 30 years.
Right, man. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's huge.
And
That's
time.
huge.
Yeah.
Dude, so I'm excited to get into this next question here, a little transition. So personal transition here. So obviously you and Kylie just got married about 4 to 5 months ago in June, right? Is that
July 1st.
July 1st. Cool. Awesome. So first question of this, how did you know that Kylie was the one and you wanted to get married now with her? And then do you have any advice for the men currently in the current dating market, a lot of the times our age and whatnot, to then find what you guys have?
That's a good question. It was just different with Kylie. I work a lot. Like I grind, and like people say that, and then there's people who like really do it.
You actually do it.
And I'm not saying it to say it. Like I do because like that's the only way I know how to be successful is like I have to give everything, and she knows that about me. She accepts that about me. But she also is there when I should take my foot off the gas and I wouldn't, and I'm about to get sick, and she'll make me take my foot off the gas. And we're very similar in a bunch of respects, and then we're yin and yang in other respects where she makes me a better person, and I learn a ton from her, and I think she learns a ton from me, and we just have this really good balance, and we don't sweat the small stuff. within our relationship, either one of us, which is massive. Like, arguments that I've been in the past that everybody has with their significant other. Like, if we start down that path, one of us will look at the other one and we'll just start like talking about it and laughing about it. Like, oh my God, this is why this is the dumbest thing ever.
Why are we arguing
even
about
spend
this?
any energy on. Yeah. And her ability to kind of have that clarity and that like levity and like being able to like look down on situations is awesome. I don't know, man. She's a special person, and I'm a weirdo, and she accepts my weirdness and my intensity, and so and it didn't feel like work ever. Our relationship has never ever felt like work. And then the last thing is like she really believes in me, and that was really important. I remember saying in my first marriage when I was playing in Norway, which isn't like one of the best European leagues. It's a top league, but it's not one of the top like 3 to 4 leagues.
Sure.
And I was making decent money, not great that year, but it was a stepping stone to making more money in the next coming years, which I did. And I used to have this saying, like, I'm a Ferrari. Like, I have to treat my body like a Ferrari. And I tell all my clients that. And what I mean is, like, don't put in shitty gas and think that the engine is going to work as good as it could, like a Ferrari would. And I would say it all the time. And I remember my ex-wife multiple times, like joking, but not being like, you're not a Ferrari. And I was just, And it
stung.
Yeah. Well, I was just like, didn't believe in me. And other people along the lines, like, you want to be a trainer? I'm like, no, I don't want to be a trainer. Like, that's what other people do. I'm going to be more than that. I'm going to do all these things. And when I would put in 16-hour days when I first retired and trying to build my business and taking on anyone, like she's the type of person that understands that grind and like where I'm going, and she believes in me. Like, I could say I'm going to spend every last dollar in our bank account because it's going to get us to where we want to be in 6 months or a year. And she would just be like, if you think it's the right move, let's do it. She has unwavering faith in me. And it's something that, I don't know. It's unbelievable.
Why do you think that is? Just because your results
did you
speak
prove it to
for
her?
it?
Yeah.
Well, I think probably, we've been together 3 years. So like, if I say something, I do it. And she sees that. Like, she sees that, like, if I say I'm going to get it done, I will get it done. If I say, we're going to do this, like, we go and do that, So I don't know. I think it's that just my actions align with the words that I tell her.
Yeah.
And I think that as a female, that's probably pretty comforting from a man, is like, I don't lie to her. I don't keep anything from her. I'm completely against, like, everybody's relationship's different, but like, she knows where I stand with like cheating and stuff like that. Like, it's like zero tolerance. Like, if you lose trust in a relationship, you lose everything. And so for me, like, we've built the trust and we talk about trust often and stuff like that. And so like, that's another just leg that we can stand on too, that we both have like that same feeling. I don't know, man. She's just awesome. I'm lucky.
Oh, yeah, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That is amazing, dude. So it's interesting because one thing I've seen that is a big trend right now when it comes to men is there's this thing called MGTOW, which is men going their own way. And it's a lot of men our age where they're like just writing off marriage and dating entirely. So it's interesting hearing you talk about how you're a man of your word and you hold that word. And I feel like a lot of the times these men might not be in that scenario. And now they're just thinking, oh, girls just don't like me. They went on 3 dates and these girls, it didn't go well and they just gave up after that. I feel like for you had every reason you could have just given up and said, screw it,
Yeah.
And you didn't.
Yeah. Well, it's like, first of all, like, where are you looking?
Exactly.
Are you going to the bar and trying to find the love of your life at 2:30 a.m.? Because anybody that's in there, for the most part, who's in there all the time.
For the majority.
Sure.
Not just like they go out once in a while and rage, like, fine, yeah, totally, live. But like you got somebody who's at the bar every Friday night till 3 a.m. Like, is that who you want to marry? I don't know. Maybe it is. I don't know. But like, where are you looking? Are you on Tinder? Like the swamp of online?
Yeah.
And I did the online dating apps after my first marriage ended, and I was like trying to meet people because I was busy and stuff like that. But it's like, all right, are you out there just trying to wheel, or are you out there trying to like actually date? Like, to find like a great person, you know? And
right.
this is something that I didn't understand until, the last couple years. Like, and I sound like a prude with this stuff, but it's not. I always zoom out on things like why are they doing that? What would be the purpose of that? And like every show is about sex. Netflix, every show, everybody's naked. It's about hooking up, and these shows are being like targeted to like teens, late teens, early 20s.
Yeah,
like sexual liberation. And look, like I wasn't like a choir boy or anything. You got to live and you got to like experience things. But like also now as I'm older, I'm realizing like, dude, like why is every show like so much sex like pushed into it, and dumb people? Every Netflix show is idiots with no IQ, and all they're talking about is hotness and sexy, and it has nothing to do with like actual substantial, like something that has substance to it, right? And so I think that a lot of younger people are being fed this like just bang everybody and like do all these things and like no
consequences for your actions. Like, go ahead, do it.
Yeah. Right. And it's just like I think it's on purpose to destroy society from I don't know who, but it's not right. Like, again, live. I think you need to date a bunch of people before you get married. I think you need to see what's out there. I think you need to like learn and fail in relationships and go through hard talks before you get married, when the hard talks are going to happen often for the rest of your life. So you need to get out there, but also like if you're just going out to like just bang everybody all the time, I think that you're just being manipulated by the media. Honestly.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's very like earthly based as well. Like what are you actually looking for? You're just chasing the pleasures of your flesh, and that's it. And that's all you're looking for. Because it's interesting, because you're absolutely right. If you're actually failing in those in a good way, you're looking for the right things. Like, okay, she didn't check that box. That box has to be checked for me. It's what you said in our last episode, where you made it clear that men are the leaders. That's what you wanted to be. That's who you are. And Kylie was all about it.
Yeah. And
she's all about that, because your direction, again, being a man of your word, is easy to follow for her at that point in time. And I feel like a lot of men miss that. It's like, yes, okay, is everything more promiscuous these days? Sure, you could make that argument. But are you also checking the boxes as a man? Are you handling your shit as a man?
Right. Are you looking in the mirror and doing what you need to do to also be trying to attract like a high quality human being? And I'm not saying I was always doing that, but like the more that you focus on that, it's funny actually. Like I had this like my rule was, after I got divorced and then healing time and then started getting back out there in the dating world, my rule for myself was, if I'm dating someone, as soon as I feel like this is not somebody I could spend the rest of my life with, I had to tell them immediately. Whether that was the first date, the fifth date, 3 months in, didn't matter. And I literally did that with anyone I dated between, my first marriage and then meeting Kylie. And that was just a standard that I wanted to keep. Like, it's like, I only date one person at a time. And as soon as I think that like, okay, I can't see this every day, I immediately told them. I don't know. So it's just one way I did it. I'm not saying it's the right way or not, but that's the way I did it. I don't know. But the other thing too is like, right before I met Kylie, I had a crazy date. And it was the first date, and it was crazy and scary and like
scary,
dude, bro. Like it was wild. And so I was like, I got off. I think I maybe met this girl on Hinge or Bumble. I don't know which one it was. I got off the dating apps. I was like, I'm not going on any dates, and that was right when COVID started. So for like 3 months, all I did was, while everybody else, like most people, like partied and stuff, I built out the back end of my online business. And in my first month and I'm literally computer illiterate, guys. Like, I'm embarrassing. No, seriously, ask this guy. I have to text him weekly to be like, dude, where are the videos you made for me? And they're in the same spot every time. I don't know how to. Yeah. So, anyways,
Matt's like, come on, bro. Figure it out.
So, but like, I spent that time. I cooked every meal for myself for 60 straight days. I dropped like 6.5% body fat. I went from 11 to 6.5.
Talk about dialed.
Yeah,
Holy shit.
I cooked every single meal or fit flavors. Like I'd take it out of there, mix other stuff in it. Right. I didn't date anybody for 3 months. And focused on my online training again. And I never say anything to brag. I say things to like teach people like, I don't know, man, I did it and I can't even use computers. And I made $10,000 the first month of having online training available to the masses, you know? And I was like, whoa, right? Well, so while everybody else is boozing and hanging out and like whatever, like, dude, I was grinding during the first couple months of COVID, which set me up to literally build this gym right now. But the reason I was saying that is because I took that time off of dating, and instead of being like, I'm not going to get married, screw women, I was like, I need to be better. I must have sent out the wrong vibes for that one.
That's wrong people that liked me apparently.
Like that's what came back to me, and that's what I attracted on that one, or that I even like agreed to go on that date. Like, what was I thinking? And
just lessons, right?
Right?
Just lessons,
no,
you know?
That's all. Fail forward.
Right.
And after those 3 months, at the time, I was with Ghost, which is a big supplement company. I was a Ghost athlete at that time, or like affiliate, not even an athlete. I put a story up. The CEO, my buddy Dan of Ghost, shared it. Kylie's a big Ghost athlete. She has her own supplement with Ghost. She's big time. And she saw it and she DM'd me like something funny, and that's how I met Kylie. Like, we started talking from that second on. There was no one else. I wasn't planning on dating for like 6 months. I think it was at month like 3. And we started talking, we took it slow, and we talked for 2 weeks. And then I drove down to Nashville to take her out on our first date. And you know, it was over from the first DM. But I'm like, man, if I didn't have that terrible date and then decide like, okay, what am I doing here? I'm going to stop and I'm going to really like focus on me for the next, like I said, 6 months. It wound up being 3 when I answered her DM. And then I meet the love of my life and my wife and my life partner. And, you know, so it's like goes back to, again, just like consistently trying to elevate yourself, and you attract better things.
Yeah.
At least that's what I've seen.
That's so awesome. And, you know, that's why your whole mantra here, give more, be more, like the more you put out, the more good you put out, like it brought you something better, you know, for whatever reason, like you just said, you were putting out some weird voodoo vibes or something before that weird date, you know, and that's what came to you, you know, and you started hammering down, focusing on the things you wanted to focus on while everyone else was out doing bullshit, you know, and the sheep were wearing masks. And you weren't doing that, you know, and then Kylie was brought into your life, you know, and it's the rest is history.
I guess the girls have to DM first, though. Is that
I give her a lot of shit too now, because she's, you know, again, I don't care about followings, but like truth is truth. Like, she had a big following. Like, she was like over 300,000 at that time, probably. And I had like 3,000. And so I tell everybody, like, oh, how did you meet? Did Jeff reach out to you? I'm like, actually,
this big Ghost athlete hit me up.
I had nothing. And she reached out to me. What's up?
That's right. That is right.
Oh, it's too much. I'm assuming you split the bill as well, you know.
Well, first of all, when I met her, bro, she was, I mean, still, Kylie is very successful. Kylie is very successful.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
She does very well for herself. Which is amazing and inspirational. And I've learned a lot from her about branding and business and some other things. But honestly, like during that time, I was going through divorce, paying out a bunch of money on that. COVID was happening, so I wasn't allowed to have a ton of people in my gym at the same time. I had to change the way I operated, all these things. I was driving to Nashville a lot to see her. So like the first probably like 10 dates, like I paid for everything. But dude, bro, Nashville's expensive as hell.
Oh gosh,
we would go to breakfast and it'd be $200 for breakfast sometimes.
Sweet.
Yeah.
That's
And
awesome.
we were going out to eat every friggin' meal, because you know it's courtship and fun and new.
But you're like, I'm having to take out loans for these meals.
Oh man, it's crazy.
We're going to McDonald's for breakfast now.
At one point, she did start to pick up a bunch of the tabs though too. Like we'd alternate or something.
But that's what it's about though.
But literally, you know? Like I was driving 10 hours a weekend to get there to see her. You know, and you know, like it's just so much money.
You're thinking back on it now, like, damn.
Yeah. But
I was spending.
It was the first time I had ever let a woman ever pay for anything. But like, she was absolutely killing it and successful, and I would be spending the money to go down there on the weekends and the time, and I would lose 2 to 3 days a week. Like I work 7 days a week. So
Yeah.
I would also take 3 days a week off. So I'm missing 12 days a month to, you know, see her more. So I did let her pick up the tab a couple times. If I would have been making what I am now, she wouldn't have touched it.
Sure,
Yeah,
sure.
exactly.
But you know, it is what it is. And she's a savage, and
That shows
love you,
both
babe.
your buy-ins, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That shows
you
both
know.
the buy-ins early on from both of you.
honestly,
the
but
fact
that
you were
was
taking
hard,
those 2 to 3
man.
days.
That was hard. It's not something I've ever
Yeah.
done. I believe in chivalry 100%.
Yeah.
If she touches a door, and like she's doing well and she could, you know, pay for a meal here or there and you could spend more time with her. Like also, I think you need to lose your pride and your ego, and I 100% will make it up to her with the course of our life for those meals she bought too. So
Yeah. I wonder if that was just kind of a part of the story and why this has worked out the way it has with you guys end up getting married. There was something that was telling you, like, I have to put the pride away. I have to be okay with this, you know, her picking up a bill here and there.
Yeah.
Because, I don't know, maybe inherently you just knew something was different about this one.
yeah, dude, I mean, well, right away I knew something was different about her. There's no doubt about that. She's like just a light. She's a special human. But yeah, man, you know, we all struggle with ego being good and bad. It can be a great thing. It can also be an absolutely terrible thing. And so for me, like in times like that, I've learned to like try and set my ego aside.
Sure.
I was also investing like to keep my gym running. At the beginning of COVID, like I spent like $30,000. Like I almost drained. I almost drained what was in one of my bank accounts. Pretty much did drain it, hoping to keep my business open.
Yeah.
While all these other gyms are going out of business and closing. Like again, we talked about investing in yourself and stuff like that. Like I spent a ton of money to like do all these things so that I wouldn't get in trouble if the cops ever did come in, which is ridiculous.
Right.
But it paid off big time.
Yeah.
You know, and so during that time she was there to you know, keep our dates going while I was putting all my money into the business to keep it going during fucking fake ass COVID.
Right.
And I think me being able to put my ego aside allowed us to see each other 4 weekends a month instead of 2, because we didn't miss a weekend for a year. Long distance. We saw each other every single weekend. Either she came here or I went there. And putting my ego aside, I got to see her more, and we're married now. So it obviously worked. It's still not easy. It's not something I talk about often because deep down I am still like, fuck, dude, I wish I could have paid for everything, you know? And I paid for a lot of it, but not everything. But, you know, it helps having a woman who's a savage.
Right.
It doesn't hurt.
It's a nice little add-on. Dude, it's just incredible because, again, you don't hear a lot of stories of the buy-in like that, because you guys genuinely, at those first 10 dates even, going to Nashville, I mean, I don't know many guys or girls who would do the opposite thing. You know what I mean? And so I really feel like one thing in our generation, especially social media and the fleeting type of thing, that's important to take away from that message is don't be afraid to have a little buy-in. If you feel something there, if you feel you're like, this girl is different, you know, this guy is different, take a few chances and see how it works out, you know, and learn from it.
Yeah. I mean, get off the damn dating apps. Like do it for real. Do it in person. Have real conversations, you know, like it's okay if like that's what you have to do to like meet somebody, like for real, like not Tinder and you're just looking to you know, smash and be an idiot
Tinder
or
especially,
whatever.
that's the
get
place,
off Tinder. It's gross. But like then it's like all in person. Like have dates, go out. Like also those are also working on your social skills, your ability to talk in uncomfortable situations, like your ability to talk to new people, putting yourself out there, being uncomfortable, sweaty armpits, all that stuff. Like
Especially the sweaty armpits. Yeah, especially
Same.
that part.
You know?
I've never had that.
You never do that. Yeah,
But it's like
for sure.
doing all those things that are awkward and like they're going to make you better in other things. Speaking at work, speaking in front of your boss, you know, talking in front of a group in your business, like whatever it is, like getting uncomfortable and doing those things more often, they're going to make you a better person for sure.
Yeah.
I love that.
I know.
I love it, bro. I could hear you talk about Kylie all day long, dude. Your guys' relationship is unbelievable. I was telling him upstairs too. I was like, whenever we go through your guys' stories, it's so clear because the way you guys look at each other, the way you guys act around each other, the way you guys talk about each other to other people as well. You're not spilling some tea that might be going on behind the scenes, as you shouldn't.
Right.
And it gives a really good baseline. Even that, along with the training stuff you do, you also give a good baseline for younger people that they're like, relationships are still real. Marriage is still real.
And I have to say, like, I'm really good friends with Jillian and Jason Tedesco, who own Fit Flavors.
I've heard great things about them.
They're amazing people, and I've learned so much about like a healthy marriage from being around them a lot since COVID. They never ever say a bad word or denigrate or chirp each other in front of anyone ever. Like I've known them for close to 4 years now, like 3.9 years or something. And to be exact,
Right on the dot.
and you know, like I've just learned so much about like the work that it takes to be in a good marriage and the things you need to do, the sacrifice, the things not to do, you know, and so having them as friends and role models in the relationship category has also been, you know, really nice too.
Yeah. So even you guys have those role models too.
Oh my God.
Which is cool
Dude,
because we look
100%.
at you guys, you're looking to someone else too, you know?
Dude, 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, you should always have a role model. There's somebody who's
You have
doing
to.
it better than you. I don't care who you are. Somebody's doing what you do better than you.
Oh, I don't
in
want
the
to
world.
learn from somebody else.
Yeah.
What kind of ego shit is that?
Yeah,
That's
it's
garbage.
an idiot.
Exactly. Well, Jeff, we appreciate the hell out of you coming on again. I mean, this, as you know, this was a big episode for us, and we wanted to do something special, and I think we accomplished that in a big way. So we appreciate you coming on for 100. I'm sure it's not going to be the last time that we have you on as well.
More than likely. Yeah.
Exactly,
Yep.
exactly. And we thank you for letting us raid your brand new gym here. I mean, this is sweet, dude. This is sweet.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
We'll have to get you guys coming over one day for a workout and get some footage for your guys'
Absolutely.
socials, and we'll have
I would
some
hate
fun.
that.
And
Yeah, I would absolutely
That
hate
sounds
that.
hard.
and Rick down here. But
You work
seriously-
out too hard. Yeah.
But
Yes.
but I mean, seriously, guys, like I've told so many people this. I've been on probably 200 podcasts, other podcasts than my own, since I started mine 5 years ago, and you guys by far are the most dialed. Like I've been on some massive podcasts. You guys are the most dialed. You guys are so good at what you do. You know, keep fucking growing, keep going, stay consistent. Like just keep fucking doing it. Keep putting it out there. Keep having on amazing guests. What's up? And
That's for sure.
And don't stop, because not only is it about like trying to grow your podcast, but dude, like the people that I've had on have taught me so much.
Yes.
Like I'm so much better at business, at life, at relationships from having conversations with hundreds and hundreds of people I would have never met that excel at something, which is why we had them on. And so I'm just excited for you guys to keep going, and here's to the next 100, boys.
That's right.
Thank you, dude.
That's right.
I really appreciate it, Jeff. Thank you.
And we've had Matt Joe with us here the whole time too, behind the cameras. Matt, we
Unbelievable
appreciate
camera
you.
work.
Money Mitch, we appreciate the hell out of you as well, brother. So guys, that's episode 100. Until next time, peace and love.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.